Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have for us. Okay, and although I am not a solar, lunar, ascendant/rising Leo, I'm heavily placed in Leo. I think like my Mercury, Venus, and another one, Jupiter maybe? I can't remember exactly the top of my head, but I have a lot of Leo in my chart. If you are interested in watching any of your other placements, you should go ahead and do so. My experience with watching these tarot and other kinds of divination readings is that you should watch the placements that you find important in your situation that's going on, wherever you're at in your life. If you're having some kind of, astrological situation that's going, or, whatever, something's going into retrograde, or you're moving into a position that is of interest to you, I would go ahead and look for all of your other placements, watch the videos that correspond to those placements, and then as you're watching them, the whole reading might not apply to you, but the things that do resonate, you take those with you. I like to write them down just like on a piece of paper, and then I watch all my little placements, and then I have this like list of things that really spoke to me, and I look at it and it all kind of comes together, right? So that's a fun way of doing it too. You're kind of doing your own little reading as well. Okay, so I want to take a look at this beautiful formation we have right here. Okay, this is very nice. It's in the physical, it's up into the emotional, mental, psychic realm. Okay, and what I'm seeing here is a person who is sitting on a bowl, or I guess it would be a bowl, right? I was gonna say like a steer, or that's the same thing basically, but you don't have a tendency to ride steer so much as riding a bull, right? So in this image, it's really beautiful how it looks like it's in such movement. You can see that this animal is pushing forward, really almost kind of looking like it's going to become erratic. But the person sitting on top of the animal, on top of this bull, looks like it is in a posture of being just straight, erect, looking out, gazing forward, having clear vision, having a good hold on this animal here. Okay, so what this indicates to me is that you have been really maintaining your stability, your consistency. You have a deep control over a situation that is going on that might feel like it is out of your control, right? It's something maybe to do with work, with family, how other people are engaging with you, their actions, their behaviors, okay? And these are all things that are really out of our control, but the real message here is that the only thing we can control in almost every situation in life is how we react to that situation. Okay, how are we going to How are we going to take in that information, those moods, behaviors, the sensations that could be very overwhelming? And how are we going to process that? How are we going to then react to it? What are we going to do moving forward? Okay. And because of the positioning of this formation, I get the impression that this is something that is happening right now, but it is something that has been ongoing. It's more of a thing that will be coming to a resolution soon. This is almost concluded. It looks like it's more in the past, okay? So this is really a good sign that you have really worked so hard. And I know with these Leo placements, and especially in the, three major placements that we look at, which are the solar, lunar, ascendant / rising, you can have a tendency to be a reactive person, right? A fiery person, somebody who, doesn't always catch yourself before you speak or act, or, get too overtaken by your momentary emotions. And these are not usually the enduring feelings or emotions or perceptions. These are the things that come up quickly and, can feel very intense. Okay. And so I think you have really been working towards mastering some of that output. Okay. And that's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. It's very difficult. I really struggle myself with catching my behaviors, my words, my feelings. I, to almost a fault, have trouble managing how I share my feelings with other people. They just pour out of me, right? I'm not, not often a very stoic person. Okay. And so, I understand the battle that it is to, kind of slow down and think about how you're going to react and behave and interact with the outside world when it feels so immediate. Okay, so this is a place where I really am going to congratulate you, because it seems like whatever the situation is, you have done a wonderful job at managing yourself. Okay, and that's important. And I think that when you get to a point where you are able to navigate those emotions in a way that is more productive, it will serve you so well. And you can also begin to channel that energy into other endeavors. Okay, so creative, spiritual, things like moving your body, right? Instead of crying, screaming, yelling, stomping your feet, you put that energy into cardio or lifting or, whatever it is, swimming, which is a good one because being immersed in that water is very grounding as well. So, that's a beautiful thing, and not something that everybody is able to do. Okay. And now I want to kind of turn this and look and see. Now I really think this is so beautiful. We have the same formation. It's turned, and now we have this beautiful figure that is enthroned, which means sitting in a throne, sitting in a chair, not just any chair, high chair, a chair that is going to be elevated on some kind of platform, altar, something like this. So we're looking at a figure that is very much the And I'm going to say, because of the positioning, it looks so much like the Emperor archetype, okay? And it has this, some kind of tassel or holding something, okay? And then we have over here some kind of person, possibly in a devotional pose, maybe standing, but definitely on this kind of lower, on this lower ground here, looking upwards. Okay. Now, this is the emperor and empress aren't always, I don't always perceive them as being like, the most welcomed archetypes, but that's because I kind of just have a bit of that oppositional, defiant nature in me. but I think in this case, and because it is on this other side, it's just another indication that you have really been working on mastering these parts of self that can be rather volatile, okay? And I think that you have not only... Now, we think of mastering often as something of domination, right? Of coming in and just kind of taking over, molding something else into your vision, okay? But I think more so in this context, this mastering is really a understanding of maybe some of the things that you don't like about your how you react, your reactionary, maybe moodiness, mood swings, and the outpouring of that energy, okay? And so in identifying that, and identifying that this is something that you want to change about yourself, you are seeing it, you are witnessing it, you are giving it, you're lending it this, giving it value in some degree, to some degree. It's not all negative. This is something about you that has helped you survive, probably something that has been a coping mechanism, okay? And you are able to understand that this is not serving me. This has not served me all of the time. Sometimes it has served me, okay? So we are embracing it to some degree, but we're also letting ourselves know that, okay, we can let go of some of these behaviors, okay? We don't need to carry this with us forever. And but we also don't need to dispel every aspect of it, right? So through this mastery, we begin to integrate these parts of these behaviors, these techniques that we have created for ourselves, that we've taken into ourselves. We keep the pieces that work for us, right? And the other parts, we show love, unconditional love. We let go of the guilt, the shame, the when we look in our past and think of, recall incidences where maybe we were cruel, we spoke too harshly, we made people feel bad, we were maybe even abusive to some degree, okay? We have to, instead of, continuing to demean ourselves and lash ourselves for those behaviors, let go of them, forgive them, let go of that guilt, let go of that shame, right? And moving forward, integrate the parts that work for us, integrate the parts that don't, but through that kind of self-love and that embracing our nature, or the things that we have created to preserve our nature, right? These are secondary. These are not of our authentic self, but these are coping mechanisms, okay? So when we have the ability to view those, integrate those, forgive, take what works and what is not harmful to others. That's another part of this issue that's important. Then we move forward as like a more holistic, evolved, realized being. Okay, and that is what really the mastery is. It's not just going in and brute force, just, okay, this is, I'm a terrible person for acting like this. I'm just going to rip this aspect of myself out and throw it away. That is just actually reinforcing that same behavior. Okay, because there's no empathy in that. There's no understanding in that. And when we can't begin to know or create a process of transmuting knowledge into wisdom, if we don't really sit in that place of understanding and empathy, okay, for others, for ourselves, for the world, and so on. So I really think that this has been a deep, deep thing for you. And I get this feeling that it's something that you are proud of, but you also are a little bit dismissive. Like, okay, this is, just something I've been working on kind of in the side, or, I've been slowly, and maybe partially because this has been a slow process, it doesn't seem like you've made a lot of movement. Okay. You have not traversed, a lot of land or mountain or whatever. And I'm trying to think of this metaphor, connecting it, because we have this mountain range coming up next, right? This formation here. So I think it's been a slow process, and you don't necessarily identify it as being something that you've worked very hard. Maybe you don't give yourself enough credit for the accomplishment, but I'm here to tell you that the neutralization of these kinds of behaviors and aspects of our coping mechanisms is some of the most important work we'll ever do in our life. Okay. And they say, right, we spend our first part of our life, existing, being conditioned, picking up all these different parts of personality and behaviors and coping mechanisms. And then the second half of our life, we spend trying to, heal that stuff, evolve from it, get rid of some of that conditioning and change our behaviors and our perspectives and so on. So, you definitely are doing this very, very important work, okay? And you need to really, in my opinion, look at that and give yourself a pat on the back, because it's so important. And not only does it heal you, it is healing to the people around you. It's healing to your greater community. And to be very cheesy, I'm going to be, it heals humanity. Okay. And, if more people spent a time doing that kind of work, we would all be better for it. Right. Okay. So now I want to look at this mountain range here. And that is all, it's kind of in that same placement here in this, it's touching down into the physical, very much based in this emotional, psychic, conscious kind of zone here. But it also reaches the peaks so beautifully, reach up into this metaphysical, spiritual, higher consciousness. Okay, where we commune with those divine things, where we receive the messages of our ancestors and those we love who have passed on. So this is that realm where we would get those messages. Okay, so this mountain, to me, definitely is so tied into this other formation. You have been working hard to get it up to the top here. You have been, climbing those steep inclines. You have been, hanging from the little ropes, climbing the walls, just really doing that super hard work. And you are, and I see this beautiful bird here. And that is so much a symbol, especially next to this mountain of consciousness, a symbol of life and flourishing, taking the time and effort to remove some of these blockages, these things that we use in our life to survive, that can also become the things that stand in our way of like kind of leveling up emotionally, spiritually, and even sometimes physically, definitely, because all of it's tied together, right? So taking the time to do that, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big on-taking. Okay, this isn't just like you go to therapy and do some like anger management for a couple months or whatever and learn some new tools. This is like the life's work. These are things that span decades. Okay, this is not just a quick fix. There's no quick fix to this. These are these are things that are so ingrained in us that you have to consistently work on them, because there will be situations that pop up in your life that are going to trigger old behaviors. No matter how much of that you've transmuted, you will continue to have to climb this mountain. You will spend your entire life cycle climbing this mountain, going down into the valleys of it, having to go back up the peaks, right? You don't just get to one peak and you just stand there and you reach enlightenment. I mean, maybe you do, but not very many of us do. Okay. This is a life. You have started to ascend this mountain, so you have chosen to do this life's work, right? So, I think that, having this beautiful bird image next to it just really tells me that your spirit has been lifted. There is a clearness. Right now, you're really soaring. And through this, there is a channel that has been open to this like higher spiritual realm. You have probably been receiving a lot of synchronicity, a lot of messaging from those higher divine things. I feel like you are really in a place of spiritual abundance. Okay, very, very much feeling in line with that kind of God force. Okay, and I'm going to go over to this little beautiful formation here, and this totally just tells me that is so true. I'm seeing a little coyote, which I always align with this image of a coyote in the desert, a beautiful little trickster spirit that is guiding you to those outer borders where perception is blurred. The physical perceptions blur into that metaphysical interior, those kind of borderland where the day side meets the night side, right? And where things flow so freely between the two, okay? And I think that you really have this energy so much in your life right now. It almost can be very distracting from your mundane daily life. It might be hard to stay in a place of work, okay, providing for yourself, doing the things you need to do to pay the bills and all that. I'm not saying that you're not a hard worker. I imagine that you really are, because I can see that you've really applied yourself to this self-work. But what I am saying is that sometimes when you get into this place where there's this free flow, it can really be distracting from the day job, right? And even, the things that you have to do, cleaning your house, doing the laundry, going grocery shopping, all of that stuff doesn't seem so important when you feel like you're having these moments with God, right? Okay. So now I want to see this beautiful little, and this one right here it reminds me of a beaver. And now the tail isn't really the same. This tail kind of, I don't know. We're going to say this maybe is two separate formations because this one really looks like a J to me. And this is in that emotional place. So I think that you are definitely having a lot of thoughts of a person with a J name or has like a J descriptive quality. Okay. So this person, this is a fairly large formation. It's well formed. So this is somebody who is very much in the central part of your mind. Okay. Often. And I don't know who that is. You're going to have to tell me, okay? Tell me in the comments if you want to. But I also am seeing this beaver here. And the beaver is, obviously a symbol of building, okay? This is those little hardworking guys and gals that love to build their homes in the middle of streams, rivers, places where water is flowing. Okay, so these are really neat creatures. They kind of are very earthy, but they also have that very watery and fluid nature to them. They are little architects of the natural world. They actually, they can change the landscape because they block up the water. They build these little, reservoirs of water, and it can change the course of the actual stream, creek, river, whatever. It changes the environment as far as where different creatures are nesting and laying eggs and hunting and all of that. So these really are just not only hard workers, not only builders, they're kind of deciders of how others are going to live. Okay. So I feel like this really, in this positioning, more in this kind of base reality, material world placement here for you, this maybe has something to do with your work. Okay. And this could be the work that you do to make money. This could be something like a hobby or a creative endeavor. Okay. And I think that with the positioning, it's and the size of this formation, it's important. It's an important aspect of your life. Okay. And I think it's just in your nature, really, to be somebody who is oh, and that's an interesting one too. Okay, so you are a person that is, I assume, not only taking care of other people, but you create probably some kind of maybe projects that help other people be employed, okay, or have to have some kind of resources. Okay, so that's important work, and I'm just gonna say that with this other stuff going on, it's important to keep in balance because probably other people are relying on whatever you're creating or whatever kind of work, whatever your position is, if you have a business, if you're some kind of management, or so on. Okay, and we have this beautiful figure here of a person holding a fishing pole with a fish, right? And that's a really neat one. I haven't seen that before. I've not had a formation like that. And that's beautiful and related to this work here, the way that they are kind of facing each other. I think that must be very much related. And again, it just, to me, seals this idea that you are a provider and people are relying on you. So I think that it's very important for you to remain balanced in your physical world, in your waking life, along with this beautiful self-work that you've been doing. I think it's just really, something that you're going to have to prioritize. You're going to have to prioritize both, right? But I think maybe here we're thinking more along the lines of like time management, okay? So this might be a good time to kind of go over some of the things that you've been doing and think about maybe sticking more to a schedule, and even maybe getting like a calendar or pulling up like an app or something that has kind of a scheduling, abilities to it, and just really sticking to kind of a more intentional routine. Okay. Just while you're doing this stuff so that you're not getting lost and things aren't falling, to the side and not getting done. Okay. Because that can happen. And that's easy for that to happen, especially if you have people relying on you and you have this amazing stuff coming through, and time just slips away faster than you even realize. And I think there's something, it's called like time blindness, right? And I have that sometimes, totally, when I'm trying to multitask and I'm getting lost and, oh, this is really interesting. And, I open up my phone and I get lost on something and whatever. And I'm supposed to be, getting ready, cooking, whatever it is. And next thing you know, it's 3 hours later and we've lost some time there. Okay. So, I think we all have that. We're all guilty of that once in a while. Okay. So let's look and see what we have here on the saucer. We have this, this little formation here. And to me, it looks like maybe a hammer. Maybe, I'm going to go with hammer because it really kind of fits into this building kind of theme that we have going. Okay. So, I'm really just seeing that there's not a lot here, although that is a very nice formation. I think that it just really is about, you're going to be coming into, some kind of project, I think, in your work or in your physical life. This could be even like home renovations, or you are involved in something where you will be doing some kind of building, if that's, like you're actually hammering wood together, or if you are helping, I don't know, like a social media campaign or something. You're building something, you apply whatever that is. And that's going to be coming up. I think it's going to be a shift for you. And I think that along with, as I was talking about, just really kind of setting a intentional routine, that will be important. But also, and what was I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so not only setting the intentional routine, but now you're going to be shifting in more of this physical world stuff that you need to do, where I think you have been more focused on this internal work. So I think there is going to also be this aspect of fortifying that work, finding a way to keep it evolving and maintaining that work, but also not having to put so much of your time and energy into it. So this will be an interesting experiment in seeing if that, all of those kind of strides forward going up that mountain, if these things are going to stick, right? And maybe some of it is not going to work when you're busy, when you're stressed, when you have deadlines, whatever it is. Okay. But that doesn't mean that all is lost. Okay. Sometimes we kind of do what's called backsliding, and that's okay. We need to have little failures, little losses. Okay. so that we can kind of tinker with it some more, work on it some more, and then get it to a place where it has been recreated in such a way that it's actually like functional, right? It's not just this like, I've done all this work, it's perfect, it's beautiful, it exists in this one separate zone of my mind, my mind and soul, right? But it doesn't work in your practical life because it's too perfect. And it just isn't, you can't maintain those high levels of perfection all the time, okay? So while you're getting shifted into this more physical realm, this work, this more stressful time, whatever it is, you're going to just have to work on those little places that you fall into annoyance, maybe are quick to anger again, or having words, or, whatever, stomping your feet, pushing something over, whatever it is that you have going on, right? Sometimes that stuff is going to slip, but you just be aware of it and work on it moving forward. Figure out what you need to do to lower some of those stressors, right? And always, if I'm ever talking about this kind of thing, I always mention, if you have the ability, maybe counseling would be good. Maybe a support group would be good, even if that's online or whatever. It's okay to seek some kind of support and help doing this kind of work. You can't always do everything by yourself, right? Okay, so pretty much this is my message to you. I am very, very impressed by the things that you've been doing, Leo. I think this is a beautiful reading and such an accomplishment. And I hope and wish that this reading was for myself, because these are things I also need to work on. Okay. So this is going to motivate me, definitely, to do some of my own self-work in these departments. All right. So again, I want to thank you. I am always so honored to spend this time with you, to be able to bring you these messages. If you would be so kind and to like the video, it helps me get in the algorithm and I can get more people watching. If this resonated with you or you just enjoyed watching it, please think about subscribing to the channel, and leave me a comment. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know what's going on with you. How are these readings resonating with you? How are they affecting things going forward for you? And I just love waking up in the morning and seeing that there are new comments to read. It makes me so happy. So, other than that, you can find me on Facebook if you want to like the page and, see some of the content there. It is Ula Tea Leaf Readings. And if you're interested in a private reading, you can go into the description of this video and there are instructions about how to get that set up with me. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is where you're at, and while you're watching this video, I send all my love and many blessings to you. Okay. Thank you. We'll see you again soon.